the girl with the one tooth that's missing? Christina. You know she's
The
dating
blue with blue. She just had that
blue,
baby.
the guy
Okay.
with the blue guy. What's her
Oh,
name?
Christian.
Yeah.
Christian. Now I've been watching some of her TikToks because they just come on my feed for whatever reason. You know, she was pregnant. And this is my question. Why is it that, so these people have been toxic together for so long, right? I don't know how long they've been dating, but I've noticed that they've been toxic, like fighting each other for so long. But as soon as she gets pregnant, there's a disappearing act. Like, why is that? Like, why didn't the disappearing act come before she got pregnant? Like, what is it about pregnancy that scares people away?
I don't know if that's
sometimes when you have kids.
I would say sometimes having kids puts things in perspective. Like I know at least for me, like once I got pregnant, my mind shift, it just automatically shifted into it's not about me. What's going to be the best scenario for the baby? So I'm like, I got to get my life together. I got to make sure I finish school. I got to make sure I do all of the, you know what I'm saying? So I think maybe that's what it was. Like I can deal with the toxicity just between him and I, if it's just me. But
I think he left her.
Whoever. But bringing in a child into this situation may not be the best thing for the child. So we need to part ways. That could be that perspective.
Yeah, I think that sometimes, like when you have kids, it's just like some people use the kids as leverage, and a lot of times people think that they can do better by themselves and that they take personal ownership over the child for some reason, even though it took two people to make it. I see a lot of people use the child as an excuse for you to have some sort of control over the other person, and that they will sometimes just like, well, it's my kid now, and they will take that child to cause issues with you so that you got something to fight about, because I don't even think in this situation, when the child was had, she wanted the father to be there anyway. So she left, I think, and had the baby and didn't even tell him or allow him to be there for the child when it was born, because I think he was with another girl at the time. So it's just like,
right. So that goes to my question. My question was, why did the separation took place? So we've always said they needed to separate, and I understand what you're saying, because that makes a lot of sense. We always said, but this happens all the time. It's almost like I gotcha. Like, okay, this is what I really think sometimes happens. They feel like, okay, she can't go nowhere. I got her. Let me go get. Like what? Because this is not the only time this happens. I see this happen a lot where the guy just leaves, goes on to another relationship, and it's like,
no. So look, what I understood happened in this scenario.
But I'm saying in any scenario, this is just brought this subject up. But go ahead, Mark.
But in this scenario specifically, and I've seen this happen with men too, where they didn't want the child. And they tried to talk her into not having a child, and by them doing that, it created a conflict amongst them two during the pregnancy. And then around the time that the baby is about to be born, the man will try and chalk it up and say, "Well, the baby coming. I might as well try and be a father at this point." And then the mom will be so angry that you did that to her the entire time for the pregnancy. Understandably, she's mad about that and not let you be there. And next thing you know, you got a son named after your wife as a junior. Like, that's crazy. Like, how you gonna name your? I'm glad I named one Monica or Susan. This thing is a Susan Jr. As a man, that's wild. And to further that point out, she got booking information for that child already. Like, you could book that baby.
book them for what?
So I know you saying
we
like,
won't deny that she's hood. But my question is, my main
trying
question.
To be there.
My main question
both
is,
of them are though.
Yeah, they are hood. They are definitely two peas, like they equally.
I mean, honestly, they should have stayed together. Honestly, at this point,
Fight that
there's a solution for that, because he got. Never mind. He already got two baby mamas. But let me just move on to the next thing.
So it would taking his situation out. I've seen that a lot though. Can we say that sometimes the man feels like, hey, she's old news. I got her under the wrap. Now we're not talking about sophisticated men like yourselves. We're talking about pookies. Or those other the guys who's like, you know what, I'm in love with her. He's like, ooh, smooth, and then she has the baby. He may even cuddle with her when she's pregnant. And as soon as the baby comes out, he's like, oh, Bessie Sue called me, and I want to be with her now.
Could it be that just like women, you got that what's it called? It's that
postpartum depression.
Yeah, maybe
so men need to leave. They're like, I can't take this. I gotta go.
Or maybe this is post
ninja pregnant.
Or maybe this is post baby clarity. You know what I'm saying? You got post nut clarity. So now we got post baby clarity. So now I got this baby, and now I'm looking at you like
Harrison, I think you're onto something.
We got post baby clarity.
It's not post what was it? What's it called? It's not post
not post nut clarity.
It's post
baby clarity.
Post pregnancy clarity.
Yeah, we're gonna call it PBC. That's what we're gonna call it.
So when the lady won't let you see the kid, is that what they calling it? Because she mad that he the baby father. That's post baby.
When the baby won't let you see the kid.
When the baby mom won't let you see your child, is that post baby clarity?
I think that's taking it to the extreme, but I'm gonna be honest. When women have a baby, they do become very overprotective, even from the father. Like they
trusting y'all like that.
Yeah, we don't trust that y'all gonna hold the baby right. Y'all might drop. Like we become very overprotective.
She seemed like she being overprotective as long as you don't got like 250.
I gotta add a video because we gotta talk about this video. I'm gonna see if JR can add this video. But listen, you're absolutely right. This is what I think, and I think I need men to understand this. And this is for most good women who are great mothers. It is unnatural for a woman to want to be away from her baby. That is the most unnatural feeling of all time. I don't care if I love you, I trust you. I find comfort in knowing my child is safe at night. Being with me has nothing to do with you. It's just being a mom, And so it is hard to know, like, I can't be around my kid. Where's my kid? You always wonder, you can't sleep because, some of y'all parents call y'all right now. Y'all grown as hell. Your mama call you right now. Baby, I ain't talk to you. You always see that one that lady's like, I'm gonna do a welfare check on you.
And let that be a sign too.
That's what mothers
of do. Postpartum depression. If she has a baby and then don't really want to connect, that's one of the signs of that.
So I have a question. I have a quick question. So do y'all know a lot about postpartum depression? Like, is it something that's genetic, or is it like something that's just an emotional reaction? Like,
it's chemical imbalance. So when you have a kid, so it's a combination of things. Mm-hmm. Your hormones, you lose a lot when you have a kid. So it's an imbalance in your chemicals in your all that stuff is stimulated, but it also be environmental. Having a kid is like it's like a shock. Like now you're responsible for a kid. You have sleep depression. You're not getting sleep. So you lack that. It's so many things, the responsibility, especially when you have a newborn, you're constantly waking up, breastfeed. You're not getting any sleep. It's just so many things that are stacked on top of each other that, it turns. Now, psychosis is different, but depression is just like lonely. When it gets to psychotic, in that medicine, you need to see a psychiatrist because you're thinking thoughts that you shouldn't be thinking. And that's when it can get very, very dangerous. That's on another level. But yeah, it's just a lot, especially your first kid's a lot coming at you at once. Because you can think you want to be a parent until you become one. You're like, what is this?
And the thing is that if there is a history of like depression or like any of that in the family, it increases the risk for the woman to also have it. So it's not necessarily hereditary per se, a gene, but if there's a higher chance if that has been in her family.
We need to make a commercial for the PBC. Are you suffering from PBC?
Or or I think women suffer from PMD, post-marital depression.
That's tough.
Why do you say that, mistaken?
Because I think a lot of what the men say are true in regards to a lot of times women prepare for the wedding. They're caught up in the wedding part of it and the fairy tale aspect of thinking, oh, I'm about to get married, and then after they get married and see what marriage is really about versus what they had in their head, that's where that post-marital clarity comes in, or post-marital depression.
So what's it about marriage that makes you depressed, though?
Because, like I said, well, at least for me, it did. It changes from the dating stage when y'all are just courting versus once you tie the knot, and then expectations of what that is supposed to be really hit you. And then you got kids that come into it, and then you're trying to juggle the kids, you're trying to juggle the husband, you're trying to juggle the job, and trying to balance all of that versus when there was no kids versus when y'all were just dating. And the reality of marriage sets in.
Right. Anybody else want to ask?
The answer to that is never stop dating even your spouse. That's the answer. Like, and I understand life happens. I get it. The kids come in, and you recognize that you no longer have the time for the things that you had time for. But that, to me, is all part of that pre-planning stage prior to marriage. If, like, you got to have certain conversations. But at the end of it, like, the relationship, because what happens is the kids are going to leave the house. And then it's you two again. If you never stopped dating, you always keep it, I presume you always keep it fresh. And you're prepared for that phase of life after the kids leave. Now you can take the trip to Orlando. You were happy going to Applebee's. Now you're going to Orlando. Now you're going to Virginia Beach. But you got to keep that. Don't stop that dating. Don't stop something that you started, that both people became accustomed to. And that's what happens. I think people get too comfortable because now we live together. Now I know what you do all day. You know what I do all day. Hey, baby, I love you. Good night. There we go. Like,
it becomes
don't do
routine.
That.
Yeah.
Yes. So break that monotony. Continue to date your spouse. Continue to do those things. As a man, if, like, the way I see it is, we have kids, let me go ahead and set up the babysitter after you get through those first about year and a half, because it takes her some time to adjust. Set up a babysitter, take her out on a date night. Remind her that and I know this, what do they say? This is that simp talk, but this is what you got to do. If this is what you did to get her, this is what you got to do to keep her. And I think we lose that far too often, and that's where that what you call it, that PMD, that's where that comes from. It's you get through that daily routine and it's boring, and you're tired of looking at the same face. Well, shit, let's go have some fun. Let's break this monotony. Let's go do something. Just my thought.
I agree. And I think men, that's where I think they feel like, man, she's changed. Ever since we got married, she's different. But that's part of the difference too, is that not realizing that we're not doing the things that we were doing prior to getting married. So of course there's going to be a change. And then, like you say, you adding kids into it and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I agree.